Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video here today for round number 11 of the JGRL eSports season for the Japanese Grand Prix. Once again, if you did miss the last episode, do go and check it out for the Dutch Grand Prix, because spoiler warning, we did come away finally with our second win of the season after what was a very difficult wet-dry race. So do go and check that one out if you did miss it. But here we are today around Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. Only 4 rounds of the season remaining at this point, so let's see what we can do today. Hopefully it'll be a good race. Suzuka is a track I do enjoy, but we'll have to see how it goes. You guys have seen my luck this season, so I've no idea what's going to happen today. Hopefully it will be a good race though. So we're going to jump straight in now, straight into qualifying. And unfortunately you joined me at the Q3 screen. Unfortunately for this race I missed qualifying. I wasn't able to get here on time, so I did not qualify, which means I'll be starting right down towards the back of the grid. As you can see, once again Chris is on pole and Connor's in second, which for our championship battle isn't the best. But we're going to jump straight to the race now. We are starting in P13, so it's going to be a difficult race for us. It's going to be pretty much a last to first challenge. So hopefully we're going to see a lot of overtaking today. I am going to try my best. We are unfortunately locked into the default preset, which is not the one that I intended to use for this race. So that's going to be a bit of a hindrance for me. Here you can see the strategy. Nice easy one stop, softs to hard tyres. Debating here whether to go for the mediums, but I thought using the softs in the early laps, trying to use that grip, would be a lot better as the race went on. So here we go then, 2-5 red lights. What can we do in this race from P13 on the grid as we get ready? Lights out and away we go, and it's a very good start. You can see the 2 cars ahead of us are AIs. We are managing to jump them though, but it's a wonderful start from us. We pass them towards turn 1. We see a gap down the middle and just unfortunately I misjudged it there. Thought I could get between Mitchell and B Dodo and just completely messed it up. So that has made things even more difficult than they already were. This now is a last to first challenge. We are way back and we're going to have to try and recover with a bit of front wing damage as well. You can see just in front of us one of the Ferraris has had a bit of difficulty off the start as well. He's a bit farther back, so we're going to see if we can try and recover with him. Can we try and make up some positions on this opening lap? It remains to be seen, but this is not the start we wanted for this race. I've had some good pace around here in practice, so I was really hoping we could try and move up early on, try and get some moves done, but now with this damage being a bit far back, you see we are catching up to the pack. There's a yellow flag up ahead here. You see Canadians had an incident along with Logan Josh. Can we try and get past him here? We do try and avoid him, but we just break a little bit too late there. Straight off the track, joining our teammates, the 2 Renaults in the gravel already. Not a great start for us as we try and hunt down Mercedes in the championship, and both our cars currently out of the points. So a lot of work to do in this one. You can see just how much it's affecting us. Bit of understeer there, I couldn't even keep the car on the track. Having to go a lot slower through these corners than I had intended. You see, coming through Spoon here, Vando tries to make a move on Logan Josh, runs straight off the track though, and he is off the circuit, so that's a free position gain. So we're back up into P14. We're going to come down towards 130R now, using a lot of ERS here. You see just a difference in straight line speed straight around the outside there of the Alpha Tauri. Reminiscent there of the Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso move from 2005. Great stuff from us there, back into P13 where we started. So, not the start to the race we wanted. Definitely going to be difficult now with the damage, and I realised I was only using lean revs there, so time to bump that up a little bit. But yeah, disappointing start for us, but we're going to get our head down now, see what we can do. Can we try and recover some positions? You can see just how much the car's understeering there. It's an absolute nightmare for us. And as we go on towards the end of lap 2 now, you can see once again into that chicane just how much understeer we're getting. You see just ahead, Haymaker went off the circuit, completely missed the chicane, so we're going to have a run on him here. Down towards turn 1. Can we make a move? Again, using a lot of ERS. We're going to be side by side nearly. Can't quite get alongside enough, so I decided to back out of that one. Don't want another incident. We've already got enough damage as it is without trying to send an opportunistic move up the inside there. Not really a braking zone, so it would be a massive accident if we made contact. So yeah, backed out of that one. You can see through here just how difficult I'm finding it just to place the car where I want it, because it's so inconsistent with this understeer. I try and put the car somewhere and it just either turns too much or too little. So really struggling at this stage of the race. We're again catching up to Haymaker towards the 2 Degners, but this is really not an overtaking spot. We're going to try and line up a nice exit though off the corner, but just misjudged it. Haymaker got a little bit of a poor exit, and you might not be able to tell, but there is actually slightly more damage now. Very slight. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on YouTube with the compression, but the wing did go from like a yellow colour to like a darkish orange, which meant that now we've got even more understeer, the car's even more difficult to drive. And my plan originally was to just try and drive around the damage, but you're going to see through this lap and the next lap just how much worse it got, just how much it's costing us. And you can see we're still P12, we're still behind some of the AI drivers in this race, which showing just how much we're struggling, because I think the AI is set to about 50%. Obviously we did have to try and catch back up to them, but still behind them on lap 3. Yeah, we're really struggling in this race. To be honest, looking back now, I probably should have pitted on this lap, but we're not going to. We're going to try and line up Haymaker on the exit. Can we get a good launch off here? We did seem to be pretty quick, but just trying to avoid him, just couldn't get the car to turn into the gravel, and I think this was the point where, in my mind, I said, yep, we're going to pit, and here we are a lap later into the pit lane, making our first stop after just 4 laps in this race. So this is not ideal. We're going to go onto the set of hard tyres, and we're just going to have to pray for a safety car. The last few races, we've seen how the safety cars have screwed me over, but this time I'm just going to have to pray for one. I don't think we can make these tyres last, what is it, 22 laps, something like that. We might have to pit again. But this is definitely going to be one of the most difficult races of the season for me now, having to try and fight back on harder tyres than everyone else. Obviously everyone else is on soft. They did have to do qualifying on them, so you know, a little bit more worn, but I think the difference in delta between the tyres around this track, between the hard and the soft, is over a second. So we're going to be down on pace, extremely far back, and you can see the next cars in front of us are 21, 25 seconds ahead. So we have got our work cut out for us here, but we are going to get our head down, see what we can do. Now we have no damage, I can finally push as hard as I want, as hard as I know that I can do around this circuit. Hopefully we're going to be able to close back up. So we're going to jump ahead a couple of laps now, obviously from lap 5 onto the end of lap 6, so it's only a lap. And you can see the gap to the next car in front. Obviously it is an AI, so obviously, you know, I'm not being Superman here, but we've got the gap down by 15 seconds in a lap and a half. So that's definitely what I wanted to see. We're going to be able to try and get back past those AI drivers. Hopefully we can get back into the points in this race. Like I said, the league is up to about 16 people now. I think only about 12 are in this race if I remember correctly. So we do have a pretty good chance of being able to get back into the points in this race if we can just catch up to the back of the pack. You see, we've just got so much more grip through this section, able to put the car where we want it. We jump onto the end of the next lap after that, and you can see the gap's now down to 4 and a bit seconds, 3.5 as we cross the line. So yeah, we were absolutely flying at this point. You can see our lap times about a 1:32.8, 1:32.9 on this lap. Incredibly, I didn't realise this at the time, but checking the race director after the race just to check, you know, pace and everything, I was actually the quickest car on the circuit at this point. And looking back on it now, this is probably the best stint I've ever done on the Formula 1 game, just pumping in these lap times, somehow going quicker than even the race leaders at this point. And this stint is going to bring us right back into contention. Obviously remember, when we pitted we were only around, like, I think P13, P14, somewhere like that. So we weren't anywhere up near the midfield. Obviously we've caught up to P11 and P12 now. You see P11 is about 10 seconds up the road. We're already going to have jumped them by the time they pit. Are we going to be able to jump anyone else? So this is what I'm starting to think now, because there are a lot of cars grouped up on the minimap. As we come on another lap, we're on to lap 9 now. See, we're up into P11 after pit stops, but there's more people in front of us still yet to pit. So somehow we're going to, despite having to pit early and having to change the front wings, having a really long pit stop, somehow we're going to jump up right up the field. You see there in the top left, Jack Games is in the pits, and we are going to jump him, and he was in P6 before he pitted. So I've no idea what has gone on with this stint, how my pace has been so good, but somehow in the space of about 5 laps I've managed to not only claw back all the time I lost through the pits, but also jump up into, basically at this point, I think a net P6 as far as I'm aware. Absolutely incredible stuff. This, like I said, this is probably the best stint I've ever done on this race. On this game. Every single lap was within, I think, 2/10 of that fastest lap I've done. So I've no idea where this pace came from. As I say that, make a mistake, so curse to the commentator there. Absolutely screwing up the Degner corners. But yeah, the pace is incredible. You see B Dodo just up ahead. He is about 2.5 seconds in front. You can see him just there. And he was in a P5, I think, before the pit stop. So absolutely incredible recovery so far from us. If this is where we are actually going to come out, then this is going to be fantastic for us. We're going to be in the points. Obviously, we're going to have the issue now of our tyres being more worn, but hopefully we can hold on to this position, because that's going to be valuable points in our championship fight. After our win last time out, remember, we are only 2 points behind X O'Connor for second in the championship. We do really have a job on our hands though, because I think he's battling for the win in this one, so this is going to be massive damage limitation for us. But as we go on to lap number 11 now, you can see up to P7 now, Haymaker in front hasn't pitted yet either, so he's still got another pit stop to make. But as we come towards the final chicane, you can see Vando's retired and the full course safety car is brought out. Incredibly, this might have just saved our race, because we can now get a free pit stop, timed absolutely perfectly there. You see Haymaker's jumped in for his one and only stop of the race. but everyone else had passed the pit lane before the safety car had come out, so they're not going to get this free pit stop, whereas we can dive into the pits now. We're going to put a set of mediums on. We can go to the end on this set of tyres. The game was saying they can do about 12 laps, but by the time we've done the few laps behind the safety car, that is going to be what we have left. So we are going to be on much better tyres than everyone in front of us. You can see Jack in P6 is on a set of soft tyres. However, he has done about 4 or 5 laps on those tyres at this point, so they are getting a bit worn. Whereas we are going to be on the freshest and softest tyres of anyone in the top 5, because everyone else had just made their pit stops. You can see here we're up into P7. So as you can see, great stint from us there to get us into this position, but now we've definitely got a chance to try and win this race, maybe, to try and get on the podium. You see the leaders are just there. They're all on slightly worn hard tyres. We're on brand new set of mediums. Didn't use them in qualifying, obviously, because we didn't qualify, so we've got loads of fresh sets available. And somehow, we're right back in this race. However, you saw there, we got a little bit of a punt, and once again, the safety car screws us over with an AI driver hitting us and another 5-second penalty, so that is less than ideal. Code is, I hate saying this, but sort your game out, because it's doing my head in now. I don't understand why that is a thing. If you get hit behind a safety car, you get a penalty, but that's just the way apparently they've coded the game. But as we go on now to the end of lap 14, going on to lap 15, this is a safety car restart. You can see the leader, who I believe is Chris at this point. Yeah, there you can see his McLaren up ahead, really backing the pack up here. Very, very, I'm not sure what the word is, but I wasn't quite happy with that, because it obviously increases the chances for collision. But you can see an amazing launch there. I'm really not sure what's happened to Haymaker, if we got a bit of oversteer or something on the exit. But before turn 1, we're already up, and that is a free position. We're up into P6 in this race now. You see Logan Josh there, here's a lap down, he's just getting out of the way of the leaders. But look at that train just in front of us. All of these people are on worse tyres than we are. We have got a chance now to try and hunt down people and maybe even get on the podium, considering we started in P13. This has been a fantastic recovery drive. Jack makes a bit of a mistake there. We're going to try and go around the outside. Can we make a move into the Deckner corner once again? Thinking better of it, pulling out there, because we really don't want to waste this position that we're in. We're going to get a good exit off here though. We're going to try and go up the inside, but I'm not sure if Jack knows that I'm there. Doesn't really leave the space, so we have to go into the grass. Somehow kept out of the wall there. Absolutely fantastic stuff from us, because I really thought that was going to be race over. But no harm done. We've lost a little bit of time. But you're going to see coming into the next corner just how much time we gain back, showing just how much pace we've got. As we come into the spoon corner, see that gap's about 0.8 of a second. By the time we come out of it, the gap's down to about 3. So you can see we are absolutely on it at this point. We've got so much more grip than the people in front of us. We get a fantastic launch out of here. We're going to just waltz past Jack down towards 130R. Wasn't even a difficult overtake. We just drove straight past him. We've saved up a load of fuel so we can use rich revs as well. And we are going to go maximum attack mode now. We're up into P5. And here is the train of the leaders. Incredibly, they're not pulling away. They're not stretching the legs. I thought Chris would be absolutely gone, as we've seen from him so far this season. But we are all covered, I think, by about 3 seconds between first and fifth, which is where I am. So this is going to be an incredible race to the end. Can we get on the podium at this race? That would be an incredible result after, like I said, missing qualifying and being in P13, sorry. The safety car really has saved us as we follow X O'Connor there into a little bit of a mistake. But we need to make the most of these tyres now while they're still fresh, because obviously they are going to wear out more. They are going to start to lose the grip, and we need to try and make the most of them as early as possible, as we get hit with a dirty air there through the S's. Definitely not what we want, showing why we have to try and get past these guys. Once again, so much later on the brakes, so much more confident. Obviously a bit of oversteer there, so you know, as I praise myself, I make a mistake. Curse of the commentator once again. But we're just able to brake so much later than the guys in front of us, and I really think if we get a run on one of them, we are easily going to be able to make a move and maybe even get on the podium. Like I said, could the race win be possible? With that 5-second penalty, maybe not, but I think I am definitely being held up with the dirty air effect and just not being able to get close enough. Once again, we go a little bit wide there. It's a little bit of a weird quirk in the handling model as we try and turn off that curb where the car just sort of wobbles laterally for some reason. That's just the way the game's coded. I'm not a fan of it, but as we come down towards, again, 130R and this final chicane, you can see just how close everyone is. If we look up ahead, you can see Kai in the, I nearly said Force India Racing Point there, sends an absolute dive up the inside of the one and only, holds him up. X O'Connor's going to try and go around the outside of both of them now. We get a run on Kai, and this is going to be absolutely crucial. Can we get this move done? We are ahead at this point, so I turn off overtake mode, but you can see Kai is now pulling back alongside us as we go into turn 1. He just appears on the inside, so I have to leave him space. He's got the move done here. We try and go around the outside though, but a little twitch from Kai. Not sure if that was lag or whatever. Meant we had to go on the grass. We couldn't make the move done. We had the run though, and now we've got grass on our tyres. We hit the curb, sends us into a spin, and Jack unfortunately just didn't have time to react. We're both off. I think that is definitely our chances of anything in this race gone now. Absolute disaster for us. Really, really unfortunate there. Yeah, I think if we could have got the move done on Kai around the outside like we had the pace to, we definitely could have made that move stick, but just that little twitch put us off. We got on the grass, we got dirt on our tyres, and that was it. At that point, there was nothing we could do as we came through there. Just touched the curb slightly, and it sent the car around. So we're now back down into P6. Obviously, very sorry for Jack as well. He's got a lot of front wing damage, I think I remember him saying at this point, so he had to pit again, and that was his race ruined. But for us, all we can do now is try and recatch Haymaker and try and get back past him. Hopefully try and get back into that P5 and try and limit the damage that's going to happen, because Chris and X O'Connor are both fighting up at the front. Obviously Chris hasn't wrapped up the title yet, but he's very, very close to doing it. As you see, we go on to lap number 20 now in the slipstream of Haymaker. Can we get the move done into 130R once again to make a third overtake down this straight? We go up the inside. Great driving from Haymaker to give us the space, and we do get the move done. So one around the outside earlier on, one up the inside this time, and we have got back up into P5. You can see the gap up ahead is about 8 seconds. I don't think we're going to be able to catch that, especially considering that 5-second time penalty we've got as we do go purple to the final sector. So we have got the pace in this race, but unfortunately I think after that spin, P5 is probably going to be the best we can get. A little bit disappointing considering where we were after the safety car, but you know, like I said, I do have to keep coming back to, we started P13, so it's been a great recovery from us to get into this position. And I thought this was all that was going to happen, but in racing, never say never. As we go on towards the last couple of laps now, we're on lap 25, so there's only about 2 laps of this race left. Coming through the S's, if you look at the mini-map, you'll see a yellow flag is about to appear just in front of us, and X O'Connor and Chris are out of this Grand Prix. We're going to see them appear on the left. It looks like they've come together and they've basically centre and prosted each other. The 2 championship leaders at this point, first and second, have just crashed into each other and taken each other out. We do have a bit of a replay here, taken from X O'Connor's point of view. You can see going into turn 1, Chris is all over the back of him. A little bit of contact made there. Coming through the S section, Chris is obviously super, super quick. We've seen it time and again in this league. He's won about 6 races this season on the trot, so he's definitely the man to beat. He's trying to make another race win here to make it 7. You can see as we come through this part of the S's though, just out the final corner here, XO gets a bit of oversteer on the curb. He has to slow down. Chris tried to get through, and it looks like the two of them just get glued together. That classic glitch on the F1 games. Puts them in the wall, and they're both out of this Grand Prix now. It's a disaster for them, but it means for us, as we come on to the final lap, somehow we're going to come away from this race with a podium. But it also means that we are about to get our 5th different race winner of the season. Kai finally gets his first win. He could have had it last time out. He's on a great run of form, and he will win this Grand Prix. The one and only will come second, and even with our penalty, we're still going to remain on the podium for a P3 result. So great race from us. Driver of the day as well, obviously after coming back from as far as we did. But that's a fantastic result. Full props to Kai. He was in the position to win it when X O'Connor and Chris had that crash. You might say he looked into it, but he had to get himself into that position. Great drive from him. He's been on some absolutely great form recently, so good to see him up there. And like I said, 5th different race winner of the season. Great to see. But here are the results then. You can see Kai does win the race, the one and only P2, and I get P3. Mr. Dodo, remember, he was the Ferrari that was at the back with us on lap 1. He pulls off a 3-stop somehow and gets P4. Great race from him. Haymaker P5, just ahead of P Dodo in the AlphaTauri, once again scoring points. Jack, unfortunately, down in P7 after our little collision. And then you see Evan, Vivid, Budnator and Lethrain, all AI drivers, so they score no points in this race. Meaning Logan Josh is going to get promoted up into P8, that is, so some great points for him. And then obviously XO and Chris did not finish, so scored no points for the Japanese Grand Prix. But looking at the championship standing then after this race, you can see we are up into P2 in the championship after that crash, up to 148 points. We're 60 points behind Chris now. Probably not going to be able to catch him with about 3 races left, but never say never. We're going to give it our best shot. Like I said, we're into P2, just ahead of X O'Connor. Evan also didn't score points today, so 3 of the top 4 not scoring. Very disappointing race for the championship leaders. Kai, with that win, pulls himself up onto 104 points. Might be able to catch Evan at this rate towards the end of the season. The one and only with that podium up into a P6. And then that very tight midfield with Haymaker, Jack and Vando covered by just 15 points, and then B Dodo up into P10 in the championship with those points that he scored at this race. Considering he only joined the championship about halfway through, great to see him up into the top 10 already. Definitely going to be someone to watch out for. As we go on to the Constructors' Championship then, you can see McLaren failing to score many points in this race. I think they only scored about 7, so very, very poor for them, but they do maintain that huge championship lead. Mercedes, 217 points in P2, slightly pull away from us in Renault here in P3. Disappointed in that, but not really much we could have done in that race. Vando not scoring points, and obviously us starting way far back did compromise us. Racing Point pull away from Ferrari now to secure that P4 after a great result for obviously Kai winning the race and Haymaker getting a few points. Ferrari down in P5, can they try and catch back up? Does remain to be seen. AlphaTauri jump up into P6 on 41 points, pulling clear of Williams and Red Bull. Williams currently P7 on 31 and Red Bull currently bringing up the rear on 30. But that has been it for this episode for the Japanese Grand Prix. Great recovery drive from us to get on the podium. Very, very happy with that. Obviously could have been better, but I will take a podium at this point. So with just 3 rounds to go then in the championship, do make sure you are keeping up to date with these videos to see what happens in our first ever esports season. Obviously it's been absolutely incredible. 2 wins, countless podiums now. So very, very happy. Much better than I thought it was going to be. But we are going to be pushing to try and secure that P2 in the Drivers and Constructors Championship. But if you have enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it. It does really, really help me out. Let me know what content you guys are enjoying. And as I say, if there is anything you guys want to see me try out on the F1 game, do leave it in the comments below and I will try and get to it as quickly as I can. One more thing I want to say very, very quickly before we finish. I do want to apologise for the slow upload schedule at the minute. It's been very tough for me because I do have a full-time job outside of doing this, and obviously with the whole issue going on around the world at the minute, it's been very, very tough for me. So all I can say is if you do want to see more videos more consistently, please do subscribe to the channel, share the videos around, try and get this channel as big as possible to the point where hopefully I can do this full time, because that is the goal at the end of the day. Who knows, let's say get to 100 subscribers and I'll do an elbow reveal or something. I don't know, that's what YouTubers do, isn't it? But that has been it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully I will see you next time for the Russian Grand Prix. Hopefully I'll try and get that up as soon as possible. Obviously, like I said, quite tough at the minute with having to juggle my job and doing this, but hopefully I can get that sorted for you very, very soon. But thank you again for watching and I'll see you in the next one.